That song is Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, the late, great David Bowie. And Freddie Mercury is late and great, too. But
I think so.
But we're not quite them, but we are going to talk about what working together and collaborating can do. I'm Taylor Gaines. I'm a journalism major focused on media at the University of Florida.
I am Lauren Johnson. I am a junior journalism major who is interested in design.
And I'm Andrew Breeze. I'm a sophomore. I focus on web coding and interactive elements. So one thing, we've seen some great presentations today, and one thing I've noticed is common in most of the presentations we've seen throughout the entire conference is collaboration. It's working together to form something great. And another theme is that normally that collaboration comes from the top down. Some sort of professor, some sort of advisor comes and tells them, we should work on this project together. Here's this awesome pitch. Let's work together. And it creates some great, great stories. But there isn't quite anything yet in most colleges, especially not ours, until now, where students can form this kind of bond and this collaboration just themselves, peer to peer. And that's where Rhetorical Laboratory comes in. Rhetorical Laboratory is a place where students at all levels of the idea process, from conception all the way to execution, can come together to talk about their ideas. And they can get feedback and be asked the right questions that really help make sure that their stories are the best possible versions of themselves. So we're going to tell you about how we did that, but before we did, I want to talk a little bit about why, or Taylor's going to talk a little bit about why.
Yeah, so we got started. Do you have that? Yeah, well, this is your brain. If you don't collaborate, you get frustrated sometimes, and you're stuck high-fiving the air. So it started off for us with me. I was sitting working on a story on deadline one night, just trapped in my computer, where you're so far into the story that you just need anyone else to look at it. You need to do anything else to step away. And I thought, in my procrastination stage, I guess, I began thinking about the culture that we were in and kind of the competitive environment that we're raised in from the time we're like 5 years old, where it's like, be better than the person next to you, get into this college, get this job, do this, blah, blah, blah. And you're so focused on yourself and stuck inside that you kind of forget our goal as journalists, as storytellers, is to tell the best story possible. And I thought, shouldn't we do that by any means possible? So the solution was right in front of us. Did that come up? There it is. So how it got started was we had a class where we read a book called Creativity, Inc. by Ed Catmull that details the culture of Pixar and the way that they use collaboration to enhance all of their work. And we are going to talk about, so basically, what I thought is it's not just about a place we could go, which we did do, we're going to talk about that, but it's about changing the culture. So we formed a discussion group where candor was not only allowed, but it was expected. And I believe I need to click the thing. There we go. The brain trust is what we called it, which is based off of a brain trust that Pixar uses as well. So we came up with that, and it basically created an environment where I felt comfortable coming forward with my fairly undeveloped idea that we wound up turning into Rhetorical Laboratory. So basically, that's the gist of it. Is I wanted a place where journalists could go at any stage in the process to work together to make things better. You look around, you get all the greatest journalism is done in teams. You've got the Spotlight team, Woodward and Bernstein, the Guardian team who worked on the NSA story, all of that stuff. So one more thing. Actually, sorry, I'm out of order. But anyway, that was the idea, that was the genesis, and Rhetorical Laboratory was born.
So our catchline for Rhetorical Laboratory is, we all tell stories, let's talk about them. So for the marketing for Rhetorical Laboratory, we wanted to, next slide.
The left is the one that,
Oh. Sorry. So the promotion for our event was mainly geared towards the millennial generation. With that being said, we mainly centered the promotion of our event primarily around social media. Weeks leading up to the event, we tweeted and posted to Facebook in order to interest our peers. Sorry. We also incorporated more traditional forms of advertising, such as posters, to which we plastered all over Weimer Hall. So, as you can see on the slide, we wanted to kind of get creative, so we used headlines such as, "Listen up, you son of a pitch." So before each event, if someone would like to present, they must first get their idea approved. If their idea is to be approved, then they are given 7 minutes to present their idea and then 3 minutes to receive feedback from the audience. So one of our presenters was Ethan Bauer, the assistant sports editor at the Independent Florida Alligator, and he needed help trying to find a social angle for his story on the decline of sexism in cheerleading. Ethan said that he had a rough idea of what he wanted to accomplish, but was unsure of how to proceed. So he came to Rhetorical Laboratory. After pitching his idea and receiving feedback, Ethan said he mainly received good advice and appreciated that the audience did not spoon-feed him ideas. Ethan said the most invaluable advice he received was to interview athletes to see their take on being cheered for at events. Ethan said overall, collaborating at Rhetorical Laboratory was a great experience and only has a few suggestions of how to make the presentation even better, which includes allowing each presenter more time to receive feedback and for Rhetorical Laboratory to continue collaborating with the University of Florida in order to further promote each event. With that being said, we believe that our first Rhetorical Laboratory went well, but we still need to refine our idea. So with that, I'm gonna let Andrew finish. Sorry.
Thank you, Lauren. Much more polite than Kanye. So where do we go from here? Well, if I was on Shark Tank, I think the next question would be, how do you scale this idea? How does it scale? So it scales in predominantly 3 ways: more entries, more colleges, and more universities. The first step is to increase the application pool. How do you do that? As an organizer of the event, the one thing you can do to boost the success and the scalability of this is to spread the word. Spreading the word creates a larger application pool, and this creates a cycle that will keep growing the event by itself. Because larger application pool means there's going to be better ideas presented. You get to be more selective with which ones get approved and which ones make it to the final presentation. This means that a higher audience will come, because if you advertise these great ideas that are being presented, more people want to show up. People show up to see the pitches, they think this is a great idea, I want to pitch next time, so that makes even a larger application pool, and so you see the cycle continues. But that's not the only way that it'll scale. The next step is to scale past just the College of Journalism and Communications and into even other colleges. You want to shake the hands of some businessmen. I'm not sure how many people get that reference, but for the journalism in the crowd, I'm sure many of you do. So communications aren't the only ones who can collaborate. You want to collaborate with people in the political science department, the economics department, computer science department. We as journalists already agree that we aren't experts in everything. We seek out these people, these smart people who are experts in their field, as sources. But I think we also sometimes need them not just as sources, but as partners. Economics majors, political science majors, they have their own stories that they want to tell. They want to help create awesome stories to get out to other people. That's why they study these things. But sometimes they're not the best at presenting these stories, and that's where we can collaborate with them. And I think that'll be a great, you'll create some great stories that way. Finally, our next step, our end goal, is to expand to more universities. So the great thing about Rhetorical Laboratory is it's extremely, extremely cheap. It's very easily implementable. All you need to do is set up a website, that's free. Set up a form, Google Forms, that's also free. And set up an event, which might cost you some money. I think we bought some pizzas for people to get people to show up. So essentially our cost of production was a couple posters and 5 or so boxes of pizza. You also make sure you want to do a lot of advertising. That's the hardest part. You need a large application pool to make this work. If you have no one show up, the idea kind of dies right there. So our end goal is to have one of these in every major university across the country. And so feel free, if any of you want, to reach out to us. Those are our Twitter handles. We will be more than happy to share with you the assets that we did, the assets we have to, get you boost started to make sure you have a great Rhetorical Laboratory at university as well. So that's our presentation. Thank you very much.